Think of the Tour de France and the Worlds, because we had a lot of the same protagonists showing up on the headlines this weekend. Liège-Bastogne-Liège 2020 will go down in history as one of the most amazing races ever. We had one winner, we had one loser, big loser, we had two that were basically robbed, and we had the UCI, which probably didn't have the balls to do the right thing in any way, so they were bailed out by Roglic. We'll get to all of that. Hey, we break down LBL and the craziness there. The Giro, it kicks off. Lopez does the same thing he did in the Tour de France, which is crash, stage one. We'll talk about that and show it. Ghana, he rides strong, and some other issues we have going on, such as the Giro up to stage 3 and some corrections. Mr. Quinn Simmons and his video, or the video I did for that on episode 205. Check that out. Basically, it was the media's treatment of Quinn Simmons. Huge mind fart on my part. This is what, so look, I do a draft, and Chris and Curt could attest to this. I don't have a script, but I do some bullet points, and don't always go with what they'll say, but what they help me do, sometimes I write things out, and then I don't read them. I just kind of go along with what I remember from there. Well, I don't know where I got Kobe Bryant in my head, but it definitely was Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was who I was going for. Had the right mind. Maybe it was because I thought Quinn Simmons was being effed in Colorado, where he lives. And so I just thought of Kobe Bryant, because that's what he did in Colorado. I don't know. Bad karma here. Anyway, so let's start right off with some of the issues people had with that episode. And if you heard it, take a look at it, or if you didn't hear it, take a look at it. Episode 205, basically where I talked about Quinn Simmons being a young cyclist, kind of how the treatment, and then we'll go over some of the comments too. So Kobe Bryant, what the F? It's Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick. Once again, do I miss Kobe Bryant? I like Kobe Bryant, but is he dead to me? He's well, literally is, but Colin Kaepernick might be as well. Insensitive, Tyler. Insensitive. Why don't you back off? Okay, I will. What about the other? I had a few other things here, but Curt pointed out to me, evidently, Dutch, they are our longest standing ally. Yes, I understand that. Hey, New Amsterdam, that's what New York is now called. They were over here. They're a big part of our history. They've been allies with us since the Revolutionary War. I think John Adams bought a house in The Hague, and I think that turned into our first embassy. So yeah, I get it. However, they were really, really neutral during a big section there where we could have used them, which was World War I. Their neutrality did not avoid them getting overrun and overtaken, and then soon thereafter they came out of some neutrality around 1945. And yeah, so they've been with us. Fine. I get it. I like the wood shoes, quality people, and their tulips. So not a problem. If that's your only, and like I told Curt, hey, if that's your only objection, I'm good with it. I'm just saying there's a section of time there. This reminded me of the great documentary, and I talk about many of these documentaries, but this one, Fish Called Wanda. Kevin Kline, he pretended to be CIA to John Cleese's wife there, and she said something about her dad was in MI6, I think, and he doesn't have a retort. So he just decides to go off and go, if it wasn't for America, you'd be the smallest effing province in the Russian Empire, Soviet Empire, I think he said. Hey, things happen. England's been our good ally for a long time. Dutch have, but little segments here and there. And maybe this Quinn Simmons thing is not helping things either. Policy. Okay, and really, there was nothing really else to say. I just wanted to give that, because Curt wanted to make sure I understood the corrections. Let's go to some comments that some people had on YouTube. I thought this one was actually pretty good, by John Simmons. He's got, I'm going to venture to say that there was more going on between the team and him, Quinn Simmons, that is, before his last post. I briefly tried Twitter a while back. Don't do it, John. It's not smart. You're smart for staying off it. And followed a bunch of cyclists, including Quinn. I stopped following him earlier this year because of stuff he was posting that discredited him, in my opinion. Right. I say that about a lot of people on there. Booting him is a significant move. So Quinn's last comment was probably just the last in the latest string of offenses from the team's view. And remember, they didn't boot him. They just suspended him. I think that is a huge, huge deal. He's paid to be a rolling billboard. So yeah, you drink Pepsi at the end of a race when you're supposed to be wearing a Coke kit. Totally shake and bake. We saw that with Talladega Nights. So I understand that. He wasn't booted. He was just suspended, which might be what you meant, John, there as well, which I totally understand. I just think it's significant that they didn't actually fire him and that they only suspended him. One, yeah, how many 19-year-olds on Twitter are you following and going, that is amazing what you're saying. There's a lot of dumb people, old people. And then I don't get my wisdom from these 19-year-olds just saying. Also, a lot of these kids, it's like the first time that they've thought of something, they think it's the first time anyone's thought of something. And I don't doubt Quinn's probably a little bit on that. He's just opinionated. He's a young kid. He feels strong about what he feels. There's so many. David Hogg on the other side of the spectrum. Maybe you think that he's brilliant. Maybe he is. I don't know. I don't follow many kids. Just saying that. Most kids that are on Twitter shouldn't be followed in the first place. My kids, they're not on Twitter because they think that's old people's land. So there you go. So actually agree quite a bit there with what you just say, John. Sean Bagley said, excellent content, Tyler. Well, thank you. Can we go to, no, how about this one? No, there we go. The clapping. We'll do that from there. Excellent content, Tyler. I'm just tired of cancel culture. The move, they cower, they complain. They only made things worse. Totally agree about the politics as well. They both suck. Thank you. Not sure about all of that. Well, actually, that's pretty good. Then we had this one. This guy actually ended up deleting this tweet. So he put his TW, and lost a few subscribers over this one. What do you have? I thought it was a big issue. And if you don't, that's part of the thing. If you don't like what's being said, I don't think I took a controversial stand. I'm just basically saying, well, let's read what this guy said. It said, covertly supporting apathy is a problem, which was bad and exploded in 1939. Remember that? And then 1, 2, 3 question marks. Oh, okay, now I do. Just don't raise your kids poorly and treat others poorly. Not cool. And I basically responded back. It's not on there anymore because he deleted the post in YouTube. But it's like, I don't actually know Quinn. I don't know if he was raised well. Maybe he's online and how many kids are doing that? So I don't know. Maybe I don't think a kid, I don't know. I just don't know how he was raised. And I did an Edmund Burke quote, something like, all it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. That's kind of an idea what you're talking about. And then I'm like, 39. I met Crystal Knock. I think it was 38. You've got that. Is that what you're talking? Are you comparing Digital Blackhand to Crystal Knock and the rise of the Nazis, Hitler, Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot? You've got Lenin, Stalin, Pinochet. We'll pick right wing, left wing ones. Doesn't matter. I don't think we're there. And if you're going to compare Quinn Simmons, what he did to that, then you're part of the problem that I was speaking to. There's a big difference between Kristallnacht and Quinn Simmons' Black Hand. So, which I think was by Felicia, but we don't have to get into that.